Quinnen Williams is a New York Jet once again. Not that he was not a New York Jet, but oh man, Quinnen Williams, let's pull it up, baby. He signs a mega contract extension to stay with the New York Jets, a 4-year, $96 million contract, the largest second contract ever for a defensive tackle, $66 million guaranteed. That comes in at a $24 million price tag. So as expected, number one, first things first, it is a 4-year deal, which is kind of where we all expected it to be. And then number two is it actually comes in a touch lower than where I thought it would be. $24 million AAV, annual average value. I was on the 4 for 100 for a long time, for a really, really long time, but coming in at 24, man, that is good value. I know it's only $1 million off, but coming in under the $25 million mark is really, really big. And Jeffrey Simmons, what was it, 23 and a half that he got? Really not much of a surprise that Quinnen comes in just a tab above it. We're going to pull up the stories and the tweets from the I'm not, what's the right word for it, the reporters as they come through. But this is really exciting news about the New York Jets getting this guy signed and locked up. Look, it was something that you absolutely needed to get done before training camp. Everyone was saying, look, you got to get this done before training camp. You just absolutely have to. You need him here. And let's be honest, we're less than a week away. I just did a video earlier today reacting to the Quinnen Williams bio change. I'm like, something's coming. It's coming. And guess what? It finally did come through. I am absolutely amped up about it. We've known about the pain and the Dexter Lawrence and Jeffrey Simmons signing for months. So it was only a matter of time before this got done. But I am absolutely thrilled that this came through and this happened before training camp. I did not want this to be a storyline going into Hard Knocks. That would have been absolutely silly if we had the Roscoe Diner situation with Joe Douglas this time, meeting with Quinnen Williams and Quinnen's agent. So glad that this one got done, but we're going to react. We're going to have a lot of time. There's 190 of you in here. Appreciate you hanging out with me on this lovely, lovely Wednesday. Let's get us started with the super chats. You guys know the drill. Super chats jump the line over here. Matt Jets W, baby, says Chris Brooks. Absolutely hard to agree with you there. You're not going to get any sort of argument with me. As I said, I was hoping that this deal was going to be somewhere around 4 years, $100 million. I was cautious about it potentially going over that. And you know, I would have been, if it went over it, so be it. This is something that you absolutely have to get done. This guy was an absolute monster for you last year. And someone who you took third overall to be an elite level pass rusher for your team. Yes, it's from the interior. It's not the same as an edge rusher, but man, did he live up to the hype and then some. Let's pull up some of the numbers. Last year, 12 sacks, 12 freaking sacks. How about that? 6 the year prior, 7 in year 2, 2.5 in year 3. But he's really gotten better pretty much every year he's been in the league. And you just absolutely love to see that. Not only did the sacks finally come, but he, with pass rush, with an added pass rush, man, he kind of just took it to the next level. So I'm absolutely thrilled about it. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. We're going to get into your comments as well. Amped up about it. The Jets, Jack says the Jets are here. We have arrived. Let's go. Jigga Man is in here. What's going on, my guy? He said, seriously, thought we would be looking at $100 million for sure. I was prepared that it might end up having to go over that number. Thankfully, it didn't. It comes in under anything $100 million or under over 4 years. So $25 million AAV or less is an absolute home run. Again, this is something that absolutely needed to happen. Huge, huge, huge. I am so amped up about it. I'm sure you guys are as well. In JD we trust is good. Jack says smart contract for him too. Only 4 years. He can get another bag at 29. And that's another key thing when looking at these contracts. I know people are sometimes, apprehensive to dish out these big deals, and I totally understand it. I get it. It's not always comfy cozy to give out these long-term contract deals. But if you're going to do it, he's 25 years old. He doesn't turn 26 until December. So as you know, is mentioned here, he's going to be under contract for his age 26, 27, 28, 29 season. He can get another probably 4-year deal on top of that. I love that for him. I think this is smart for both sides. The rumor was that the Jets wanted to go longer. Quinnen Williams wanted a shorter term deal. All the other contracts for these defensive tackles around the same age and around the same skill set have been very, very similar in the 4-year deal for 22 and a half or 23.5 million dollars, and Quinnen comes in just a touch above at $24 million. Finally, Chrome says sign Kawan and Cook and let's roll. Yeah, I mean, that's if you're going to get any other kind of signings, I think it's going to be more depth stuff. I think it would be pretty cool to see Quan Alexander brought back. I think that would be absolutely a home run for the New York Jets. And if they bring in Dalvin, look, I get it. Trying to get in as much help as humanly possible for this young running back room is good. Robert chimes in saying, so glad this got done before Hard Knocks didn't want a Revis 2.0 situation this time around. Yeah, that's an important factor in all of this, right? Like we got the official news yesterday that the Jets will be the subject of Hard Knocks, and Robert Saleh made it abundantly clear that he did not want the New York Jets to be on Hard Knocks. Like I said, they pretty much have said for the whole way that they didn't want that to be the case. They didn't want to be on the show. Unfortunately, there were only 4 teams that were eligible. It was the Jets, it was the Saints, it was the Bears, and the Washington Commanders. Commanders don't move the needle at all. Sorry. The Saints have a really big fan base, and they got a new quarterback in Derek Carr. So, that one's a little bit better, but still not crazy. The Bears, I would say, it made the second most sense for it. I was kind of a small part of me was hoping that it was going to be the Bears, but it ends up being the Jets. And look, I think it'll end up being just fine. But man, gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. Yeah, Joe Brooklyn says let's get Quan back. Absolutely. We got Hennessy Heisman hanging out with us. What's up, Hennessy? One Jets Drive said we need the Q signing on our show, not Hard Knocks. Yeah, right. Their show looks like it's going to be coming out sooner, so I'm sure they will have all the behind the scenes details on that one. Again, just things you absolutely love to see. You're going to get double the content with One Jets Drive. They're not going anywhere. Hard Knocks is going to be coming into the building, which is, again, they're not necessarily looking to do it. The Jets are, but I think they'll be okay. The last time the Jets were on the show 12 years ago, they had their most successful season of most of our lifetimes going back to the 2010 season. Bless you. Thank you. There we go. We got another super chat. How about them Jets? What's going on, dude? I agree with this. He says, I feel so relaxed now that this is done. The gods are in our favor. Vikings Valhalla. There, I believe that is correct. Now let's see if we could sign Cook or Hopkins, and vets. Go Jets. There we go. I am excited to see what else they do. Obviously, training camp is inching closer, less than a week away. Next Wednesday is when the New York Jets will be there because they are playing in the Hall of Fame game, which is I'm excited about. I will be there for the Hall of Fame game. Also, it's probably worthwhile to mention because we announced it today, but I'll pull it up for anyone else who is going, and we'll get back to that. The big story in a second, but let's pop this up on the screen. Myself, Jake Asman, and Boy Green are doing a little Jet fan get together in Canton, Ohio. It is on August 4th, and we are at Jersey. So if you're going to be there, all the information is on all our social medias, so you can follow along there, and hopefully we see some of you all out there. But I agree. I'm very curious to see if they add any other veterans into the mix here because most of the roster is set. I'd be surprised if it's anyone big unless it's a Cook. Supposedly, I don't know how much stock you guys put into next team odds and stuff like that, but DeAndre Hopkins is now I believe it was minus 300. It was some odds on, by far odds on favorite to join the Tennessee Titans. So he's going the Julio Jones route for some reason. And there was also a couple more. It was Julio Jones. Andre Johnson went to finish his career there. And there was another, Randy Moss went to finish his career there. So he's taking his talents to Tennessee, it looks like. But yeah, I think that there's a Cook, there's a possibility. Maybe Kawan or some rounding out safety or linebacker depth would be my guess. Doug, what's going on? Says Q signs and my power turns back on. Great 10 minutes. That is a massive W for our guy, Doug. Glad to hear it. Glad you got your power back. Just things you absolutely love to see. Have yourself a day, Doug. I'm glad that you are having a good time and that your power is back on. We like that. We don't necessarily want to be without power. That is never fun. And then how about that? Our guy gets a massive, massive, massive one right there. Dano says ginger power. Yes, it's gonna be myself and Asmund, the double, the ginger duo doing it. I love it. Lee Brew says Titans got Will Levis, right? He needs a number one receiver. Yeah, not wrong. Technically. But what about Traylon Burks? I think they drafted him hoping that they were going to be the number one wide receiver. Brendan says, why do all the players not like the idea of being on Hard Knocks? I think they just kind of want their own personal space with it. They just want that spot where they could go in and do their thing. And, they have the One Jets Drive cameras there and their own in-house people there. So it's really not that much of, it's not really that huge of a deal. But the big thing is I think they're trying to like focus up and say, like, we have business to do. We have a job to do. And we don't necessarily want any outside noise that are doing a show like Hard Knocks could bring. Now, again, hopefully I don't see it again. I don't really see it being an issue, and hopefully, it's for sure not an issue with the New York Jets that they are on this show. But I think that's really the biggest thing is that they don't want any outside noise. They want this season to be one where there isn't distractions. You can go into it and have that expectation of having an elite level season, a great season, maybe even a championship. And not hear the noise. But some people just don't like it. But I would imagine that like there are some pretty good personalities. I can't wait for Michael Carter, Sauce Gardner, Carl Lawson, Michael Clemens. I think will be really good. Ron Middleton. They're gonna have some really nice personalities. Obviously, Rodgers. That's the biggest of them all. So yeah, there we go. Lee, he got 4 for 96. I'll pull it back up in case anyone missed the deal. We finally have confirmation on the contract extension from Tom Pelissero. 4 years, $96 million. $66 million of those dollars is guaranteed. It is now the largest second contract ever for a defensive tackle. He is well deserving of that honor. Gotta love it. Spin Max Steve says our Jets D line is going to be awesome 100%. Yeah, I mean, this is why you do this, right? To get it done, to get him in a spot where he is happy and here for this contending window and beyond, because the defensive line is such a huge part of what the Jets are going to try to do. And their success on defense is a lot of it is predicated by the pressure that they get. Yes, having the shutdown corners in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed and Michael Carter II is fantastic and it's huge. But you can't dismiss what the defensive line does. That's why they drafted Will McDonald with the top 15 pick, why they also traded up and drafted Jermaine Johnson last year. They needed more on the edge. Carl Lawson's coming back from injury. I mean, he played last year, but we found out that he pretty much played through injury last year. And if he's healthy, I think that only elevates his game. John Franklin Myers is someone who's still somehow underrated by people. He's a really, really solid player for this team. They have a great defensive line, and that once again is going to be a strength and going to be a reason why this is going to be a top 5 defense, in my opinion, in 2023. Let's go. I was born in 96. It's a lucky number. It says DLB, one Jets arm. Love that. I'm in on that. Good point. Calvin says Green Bean can finally purchase an effing jersey. Yes, he was saying that this would be the next one because he's afraid to get jerseys because That nobody ever signs a second contract. Like, believe me, I've been through some really rough ones, especially in recent years, jumping the gun on some of these. But with Quinnen Williams signing this long-term extension, he's going to be here for the foreseeable future. You can get yourself a nice 95. And I love that Quinnen wears DLB said 96. It's a lucky number. Well, Quinnen's 95 is a lucky number for me because that's the year that I was born. So gotta love it. Brian Bogan, he is a member of the channel. If you want to join and be a member as well, you can hit the join button down below. Thank you so much to Brian for supporting. Says, hopefully Becton sees what having a great year does for your bank account and dominates. Ooh. Oh, imagine Mekhi Becton coming in. Number one, playing full 17 games, remaining healthy for the entire season. That would be tremendous for him. I'm rooting for that. And then imagine if he balls out. Don't know if it'll be at right tackle or left tackle. My guess would be that he's going to start the year at right tackle as a starting, right tackle. But offensive lines, they get banged up. We saw it last year. So he might at some point get his chance to play on the left side. But if he plays really, really, really well, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, he's going to get paid. So good on that. Makai is taking care of the body. Hopefully, he plays really well and stays healthy. That is the biggest key in all of this. And he cashes in on as well. We want to see these guys get paid. If they're getting big money and second contracts, that's a good thing. That means you're drafting right and developing talent, which is obviously what you want. Love that. Willem says Michael Carter is going to be one of the most loved running backs by the league after Hard Knocks. Yeah, he has a really good personality. He's been great in all those like little Jets videos that they put out for their social media and on everything. I can't wait to see these guys out there. Michael Carter's definitely a guy on that list that I think is the one who's going to dominate the show. I mentioned Ron Middleton. That's someone else who I think is going to do a really good job. I love his speeches. And that it doesn't stop there. Robert Sala is I'm really curious to see how he interacts with these players, what the kind of things that we get there. But yeah, just overall, I think we're gonna get to see these personalities shine. The Jets have a likable team, and it may not seem that way because if anytime you log on social media, there's people taking shots at Sauce Gardner or Darrell Revis or Garrett Wilson or Rodgers, and goes bing right down the line. But these young guys, like this is a fun young group. So seeing them get the national attention is going to be different. We're not used to that as Jet fans, but I'm excited to have that little bit of a transition and change things up a little bit. Crossfire, he is a member of the channel as well. What is going on? Crossfire says, let's effing go. Now sign Kwan. Hard agree from me there. Kwan had some cryptic tweets going. He didn't really say anything too much with it, but you guys know how I feel about Quan Alexander. Um, I'm a really big fan of his game. It would be really nice to see him brought back. He tweeted the other day. Here, let's see if I can pull it up. I owe this shit to myself. Y'all be worried about everyone else but yourself. Stick to the script and stay out. Um, just stuff like that. I think it'd be really, really nice to see him back in green and white. I thought he was good in his role last year. He's not going to be someone who's playing 75% of snaps as at linebacker. He'll play maybe half. I would say between 40 and 50% would be my guess. But a nice linebacker 3. They have Jamie Sherwood right now, who they very much like him, but I'm worried about the lack of skill set. Not the I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Not the lack of skill set, but the lack of experience there. He has the skill set was what I wanted to say, but he doesn't have the experience. He's changing positions. He was a safety in college, is making the transition to linebacker, and just he doesn't have the snaps, and that's a lot to ask out of a guy on a team that is trying to fight and win a championship to, play that big of a role for your team. It's a very going to be a very tough ask. Brian says, you think there'll be an episode with everyone goofing around, and in the distance, we'll see Elijah Moore creepily peeking through a window. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, what I missed. I wish I was there. I wish I didn't have that trade request. And like I'm excited to see Nicole Hardman here. And I think Randall Cobb is good depth, but a part of me is bummed that it didn't work out with Elijah Moore. I really loved him coming out of college at Ole Miss. I thought he was someone who could have went in the first round that the Jets got at the top of the second round. He had really nice moments as a rookie. There was a 5 or 6 game stretch where he was just absolutely dominant with, again, really bad quarterback play. And for whatever reason, didn't work this year. Part of it, let's be honest, I don't think he handled things 100% perfectly, but was not properly utilized. Um, Dealt with bad quarterback play again, did take some plays off, which again, that goes to him. And he was obviously very frustrated. And again, I think he handled things very, very poorly. I wish he handled things better, but I think both sides are a little bit to blame on that one not working out. But he's in Cleveland now. We'll see him towards the end of the year on Thursday Night Football in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's week 16 or 17, but nonetheless, there we go. Lee says Devontae Adams next. I would be floored. There's no way that Devontae Adams is going to get moved to the New York Jets. That'd be shocking to me. Mikey Mouse says my Q contract prediction was off. Was 1 year off, $500K per year off, guaranteed $4 million less than I thought. Decent prediction or total fail? No, that's on the money. I think that's a really nice, it's a really good guess. It's close. It is absolutely close. It's not easy to predict these contracts. 500K off per year. So you thought 24 and a half over 5 years, I'm assuming, or 3 years. I don't remember if you said in the past, Mikey Mouse. I apologize if you dropped at some point, either in the comments or in this thread. If it was, let's see, 24 and a half over 3 is 73 and a half, or if it was 24.5 over 5 is 122 and a half. I'm going to guess the 5 years, but yeah, it's a good deal for Quinnen. I think it's a good deal for the Jets. I'm happy for both sides on that one. Doug says, baseball question. Would you trade for Ohtani? I love Shohei Ohtani. I would absolutely want him. If you're a Met fan or a Yankee fan, I would absolutely want him on my team. I saw friend of the show, Brandon Tierney, not really, said on WFAN that he'd rather want Soto over Shohei Ohtani, which I just don't get how under any circumstance that you could think that it's better for your team to get Soto than Ohtani. I would do it, even if for the Mets, I'm a Mets fan. They're not more likely than not going to be a playoff team this year. If you're able to trade for him and extend him and he wants to play here, that's someone who helps you for the long haul. Absolutely. Mikey Mouse says it was on Twitter. I thought I heard it was 24 and a half per year. I guess that was wrong. $1 million per off. Okay. Now 24 over 4. So that's 96, 24 over 4. I believe that's right? Yes. I'm not a math guy. I never claimed to be, never was one. Robbie says, does that mean his contract runs out at the end of 2027? Please help Matt. Good question. We're going to pull it up. We'll see if it's updated on Spot Rack. Could be. Over the cap. Maybe they might have it. No, they don't have theirs updated yet. Maybe Spot Rack will. Although I don't like going on their site because it's going to slow everything down. I would think it's a 4-year extension. So I would imagine that it's 5 more years that he is under contract. I don't think this changes anything for this year. I believe it is 4 more years tacked on what he was going to get this year. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff. His contract breakdown, nope, same thing on Spot Rack. It's still showing the same. Right now, here, we'll share this tab instead and do the old switcheroo. He is expected to, any day now, I'm going to minimize your comment. 9.594 cap hit. His cash is at 954 after $5 million last year. Yeah, there you go. 23, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. So it'll be at the end of 2028. There you go. That's what 99% positive that is correct. But it's an extension, so I believe it's just tacked on top of that. Oh, and look at that. The New York Jets, I didn't even realize this. 33 minutes ago, you'll pull it up. Wrong tab. They did the bless you, thank you from the draft. An all-time moment from Quinnen Williams, an all-time meme. He sneezes, says bless you, thank you, and then goes right back into the interview. Good kid. I'm really happy for him. He is absolutely deserving of it, I think. Um, I'm glad that he's going to be a Jet for a long time. He's a dominant interior player Aaron Donald is still at this point in his career. He is still the number one interior defensive lineman, but you can make a case for Quinnen right after that. At worst, at absolute worst, Quinnen Williams is a top five interior guy. I would put him higher than that. I think two or three probably, which just shows how dominant he is and how big of a step he took. And look, he's in his mid 20s. It's not like he's getting this massive deal in his late 20s. I also don't think you have to worry about. I've seen people say, "Oh, this is going to turn to Muhammad Wilkerson situation 2.0." I would be really surprised. I think this, Quinnen's going to stay motivated. He hasn't really shown me anything to make me believe otherwise, that he isn't going to just be that stud. But who knows? We'll wait and see. But I'd be really, really surprised. Yeah, top two. Hard to agree. Matt says he's top two. I would. I would say that. I would say he's number two behind Aaron Donald. Personally, again, that's my rankings. I've seen probably no less than five for the absolute smallest. But this is great. This is absolutely a great deal. This is funny. I would trade my firstborn to the Angels for Otani. I would do the same too, as well. Hard agree. Q is top three, says Ryan. I'm with you. I have him right in that range as well. That's just goes to show you how dominant he is. And you got to give credit to Robert Saleh and the defensive coaching staff for getting this. Woody Johnson even fired out a tweet. Look at this. We'll get our guy Woody up. Hey, Quinnen Williams. Good. I'm glad he's happy about it too. Mikey says Q will be 26 in December. He might still have that strength boost you get in the early to mid 20s. Yeah, he's still in his prime, and not the later, like the meat of his prime. When guys start getting into their late 20s, early 30s, that's usually when you begin to slow down and lose some strength. I don't think that's going to be the case for a long time with Quinnen. Good stuff. Hennessy brings up a great point as well. Mo Wilkerson wasn't this dominant, and that is true. He was also, I believe, he was older when he got paid. Um, Obviously, it was around the same. No, he was a year older, and he was coming off a 12 sack season, but it was different. He was a one-time Pro Bowler. He wasn't an All Pro. He was good. He was a very good New York Jet for a few years, really, from I would say more so 2012 through 2015. That stretch run, he was very, very good, and then it fell off in 2016 and especially 2017. 2016 was just a terrific season by all standards, and then 2017, like, he pretty much stopped trying there, and then played 3 games. I forgot he was on Green Bay after that. Love that. Good stuff. So I'm really excited about this deal. I am happy about it. It's just a good day to be a New York Jet fan. Such a good day to be a New York Jet fan. Sign Quan, sign Cook, trade Mims, trade Michael Carter, says Revis Island. Okay. I'm with you on. I don't think you're getting anything from Denzel Mims. I think if he's leaving, he's getting cut. Quan, I like. Cook, I'm lukewarm on. If they do it, fine, but I'm not necessarily begging for it. Michael Carter, I like as a bounce back candidate, so I'm not with you there. Hennessy says Q was double teamed his first couple years in league. He developed and got help on the edge, then took off. Can't wait to see the D line this year, and then follows it up with the sack exchange 2.0. It should be. There's no reason to believe that this can't be a downright dominant unit. Quinnen Williams can push for double-digit sacks. You can have Carl Lawson push for double-digit sacks. These guys are going to be a really good unit. And the fun part is they're so deep, they're going to rotate these guys through. So we're going to see a bunch of different names Just absolutely love it. Crossfire, did I miss your members super chat? I apologize. Was it? I don't know if it's going to show on the screen as it shows in the chat. I don't believe it will, unfortunately. It's the yeah, well, it's Wilson and Michael Carter going together. Oh, okay, I see it now. Um, Apologies. It didn't pop up on StreamYard for some reason, but thank you for pointing this out to me. I can scroll it back. I see it over on the YouTube side, and I'm glad that I have that open, but I don't see it over here for some reason. That is really strange. Can I read it out loud? All right, Crossfire, I'm gonna read it out loud. Unfortunately, I can't pop it up on the screen for some reason. It's not showing on this side in StreamYard. But he says it's nice to see a homegrown talent finally staying and getting what they deserve. Culture change indeed. I agree. I think this goes to show you just how much the culture has really begun to change for this New York Jets team. It's really important for um, in order to get these guys. And people worried about, oh no, maybe they're not going to extend Quinnen Williams and they'll want to flip him and trade him because he wasn't a Joe Douglas draft pick. If they're good players and important to this team, they're going to stay. And I think that shows that, hey, if you do what's right, you come in, you develop, you grow your game, you're going to get paid. To me, that's what this says. I love it. Guys, I think that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for hopping on with me on this nice little live stream to react to the Quinnen Williams extension. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you next time. Go Jets.